Hello everyone.
That's what the storm did a while ago. Come from up there. Come from up there. And a long right here.
You know, got hit by this tree, but I just made it. Wow. You know. Wow. Stay safe out there, everybody.
By mid-afternoon, what began as a scorching summer day along Interstate 95 twisted into something no one expected. A towering wall of storms ripped through the skies above Washington, Baltimore, Philadelphia, and New York. Millions were caught in its path. In just minutes, cities were plunged into chaos. Lights flickered, roads vanished beneath rising water, and in the distance, the sound of trees snapping became an eerie drumbeat of destruction. In Washington, D.C., the storm hit with no warning. The air had grown thick and heavy all day, and by the time temperatures neared 100 degrees, the sky had turned the color of bruised steel. Then, impact. Winds exploded over 60 miles per hour. Trees came crashing down. Windows trembled under the force. At Dulles Airport, gusts clocked in at 66 miles per hour. Reagan National followed suit. Flights were grounded, travelers stranded. Inside the terminals, people stared at departure boards that never changed. A construction site in the capital buckled under the pressure. Part of the structure gave way. Fire crews rushed in, searching for victims beneath the twisted steel. By sheer luck, there were no casualties, but the message was clear. This storm wasn't passing through, it was taking over. As the system surged northeast, it slammed into Baltimore like a freight train. The city skyline vanished behind sheets of rain. Lightning turned night into day. Storm drains overflowed in minutes, spilling water into intersections and dragging debris across once busy roads. In the background, the scream of sirens never stopped. First responders fought to keep up. Downed power lines turned sidewalks into danger zones. Families barricaded themselves inside homes, listening as limbs shattered windows and transformers blew across neighborhoods. By the time the storm reached Philadelphia, it had become something monstrous. Trees older than the city itself were torn out of the ground. Wooden poles snapped like toothpicks. In Montgomery County alone, over 48,000 homes lost power. In surrounding counties, tens of thousands more sat in darkness, their phones silent, their AC units dead, their world suddenly still. At Westtown Township on Talleyrand Road, the wind roared like a train. Treetops twisted until they cracked and fell. Joseph Staroga remembered the exact moment the alert screamed through his phone. He grabbed his family and ran. They made it. Just a mile away, someone else wasn't so lucky. On Westbourne Road, a falling tree ripped down a line and set a home ablaze. Flames lit up the neighborhood. Firefighters battled through wind and smoke to stop the spread. They did, barely. Then came New York. Central Park, usually a symbol of calm in the city, became the site of terror. A bolt of lightning struck a tree beneath which a 15-year-old boy had taken shelter. His name was Yasin Khalifa. The electricity surged through the bark, into the ground, and through him. He was thrown unconscious. When he awoke, his limbs wouldn't move. His friends screamed for help. Emergency crews arrived in minutes, racing him to the hospital. Second-degree burns scarred his body, but he lived, barely. The system stretched across the East Coast, from Virginia to the Hudson River, unraveling America's most crowded corridor. Airports were paralyzed. Over 9,000 flights delayed or canceled. At LaGuardia, ground crews were ordered off the tarmac. It simply wasn't safe. In New Jersey, the Barefoot Country Music Fest turned into a stampede. Lightning was detected within 8 miles. The concert was shut down. Thousands evacuated. The music stopped. The celebration ended in silence. In Bethesda, Maryland, a different kind of horror played out. A tree crashed into a power line. The pole split and landed on a parked truck. Sparks ignited the fuel tank. Flames engulfed the vehicle in under 2 minutes. People screamed from nearby porches. Cameras captured the fire growing with terrifying speed. No one was inside, but the warning was clear. Pennsylvania sounded tornado alerts for Chester, Delaware, and Newcastle counties. Though no twisters touched down, the damage left behind mirrored one. Roofs were torn off. Streets disappeared beneath debris. Some roads wouldn't reopen for days. This wasn't just a storm. It was a derecho, a long-lived, fast-moving wall of wind and chaos born in the Midwest and barreling east. It had already carved a scar 600 miles wide. Illinois, Missouri, and Michigan had fallen first. Now the East was paying the price. As the sky cleared Friday morning, the full cost came into view. Over 600,000 homes without power, roads blocked by fallen trees, schools closed, rail lines suspended. In backyards and parks, branches the size of trucks lay splintered. In driveways, crushed cars sat beneath limbs that weighed thousands of pounds. But in the silence, something else stirred. Neighbors emerged. They checked on each other, shared generators, cleared branches with their bare hands. In Philadelphia, an elderly man handed out bottles of water from his porch. In Maryland, 2 strangers teamed up to pull a pine tree off a neighbor's roof. That's what storms can't destroy. In the aftermath, the question always lingers. What if this happens again? Would your home survive? Would your city be ready? Because the next storm might not give a warning, and it won't knock. It will come howling through your skies, just like it did here.
Sandalye